Give me 1 second.
Yo. Orlando Pirates, yes, Amapagania have shocked everybody. We have shocked everybody. But before we get into that, we're on our way to Spain, guys, and we're all excited to see how up the Slamawatu will set up this new look star-studded squad. And I'm sure I speak for many when I say we've got our forks and knife ready to taste what the master chef is cooking. At the end of his Mamelodi Sundowns contract, we as Amapagania had to jump at the opportunity and bring him Escotini. SIPHO MBULE, who's had a turbulent career, rising to fame at SuperSport United, went to Sundowns, revived his career at Skukune United with a 1-year loan spell where he was given a chance to express himself once again, and he definitely impressed everybody. So let's answer this question, guys. Was it a good acquisition? Is it something that we will be better at as a team? Will we be a better team? Let's find out in this analysis video. The Pirates Playbook, the new show. Mr. Coach, let us discuss this player. We're going to go through his player profile, strengths and weaknesses, and then we'll find out how he will fit in with our squad. But before we kick off, please hit the like, hit the subscribe to be notified, and share Namapagania so we can grow the community. Go! Yo guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody for joining us. Like I said, this is the Pirates Playbook. Mr. Coach, I am featuring you. I'm joined by you. Before we get into the pie, I'm to SIPHO MBULE. Exciting signing, dude. Let us find out how he's gonna fit into the team. I know you've got some dope things prepared for us. But before the pie, I didn't sang that prayer.
Hola, Prague, I'm fit too. Hey, now first of all, healthy. Thank you very much. I'm happy. Perhaps more importantly, 2 more sleeps until we see our boys get back onto the pitch. We missed them. I know for a fact I did. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you are looking forward to the boys as well, wherever you are, please, Lantiwa Fetu, I've become a one-trick pony. A1. Please help us get the stream to 30 likes while it is still in stream. Even if you're watching this post the stream, if you're watching it as a video, please click that like button. It goes a long way. We appreciate it. It helps us even get more excited. And once you're done with that, as on belief buffet to hit the subscribe. It means everything. We also see that over 80% of you guys that are watching and enjoying the show. First of all, we appreciate it. Thank you for watching. But most of you guys are not subscribing. And we will appreciate that. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Buffet, we almost turn 1 year this month. Isn't will be 1 year old. And that'll be, please help us subscribe. Thank you, Mr. KP.
Mr. Coach, get sort of tactical board, yeah, how so I guess before we get into too much, I think it'll be important that we actually take a look at what is good at, Boma strengths, weaknesses, and the likes. So in terms of strength, I feel like the best thing about the Master Chef, if you think about it, is that as a central midfielder, you can't really tie him down to one position. If you look at his heat map, I'll find a way to get it in there just now. But if you look at his heat map, he's actually all over the show. Let me just get it up on the screen quick. So as a central midfielder, you're going to expect him not to be, solely the one that sticks at the back. As you can see, he's actually all over the show, and I feel like that's a good thing in terms of having a box-to-box midfielder. Because I feel like you're also going to show us with the tapes that we've been struggling with that whole box-to-box aspect of things. But actually started out well. And then, we ended up having to build out from the back with the deep-lying defenders when TLP came through. I remember it was a big thing for him to start it at the back. So I think if you guys just look at that heat map, remember everything that's going to happen in this video. Or remember the heat map when you look at everything else that's going to happen in this video. Sharp. So just to have a comprehensive list, His strengths are press resistance. He's got a wide passing range. He's got vision, and he can ball carry. So, like I said, with that heat map in mind, you can see. Yeah, no. Press resistance is gonna allow him to be the person who gets us from the defenders. We don't have to build out so long ball like. So I think when you look at these strengths, you can think that probably he's going to help us keep possession. Cool. And then when we look at his his weaknesses, match fitness. In the past season as Kukune, he was playing about 59, 60 minutes per game. And if you look at season before and the season before that, you'll see that actually it has built up from Boma 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50, now is at 60. So we'll actually see how it goes. And then obviously, guys, the one that is on everybody's lips is the discipline. So let's see if he is going to maintain. I feel like, I don't know how you feel, Mr. Coach, but I feel like last season, when the spotlight was off him, he did regain a little bit of that discipline, and the talk wasn't as bad. How do you feel about that one?
You know what? To be completely honest, yes, we've mentioned it in these weaknesses, but I think let's give him a clean slate. Let's from now on, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear anything about discipline unless, of course, something happens. But now it's about the football. It's about he's got a new chance. Let's not give him that baggage, Mfetu. Let's look at him as a brand new player. Forget about his discipline. And now let us give him all the rope before we start tagging him. It's in his past.
Yeah.
For all we know that he's a new man. So let's give him that clean slate. It's his first time at a big club. So let's see what it does.
Yeah. Okay. Contentious, but okay, Fede. Yeah, so I think I shall hand over to you now. So we did highlight the strengths and weaknesses and his profile, but then Mr. Coach, I guess you will show us how he will fit into the squad.
100%. Before I explain completely what we have here, I just want to mention that we are likely to see Mbule in two different types of setups. As you saw, it happened last season. Not so common, but it did happen that sometimes we would play with a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3. And I just want to cover both aspects where he could fit in. And as you can see in the title, how he solves our issues in the midfield. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I know a lot of us who use this YouTube platform, we did notice. Because I always say we might not be coaches or professionals, but we also watch our job. We watch just as many minutes as
at least at the end of the day,
a lot of the coaches. So we pick up a few things. Then I'm going to the same match, and I just want to touch on a few aspects of how I'm going to break it down. Is I'm going to go into our issues last season, our problems before Mbule, and how I think he solves that for us. So
okay, cool.
First things first, what you guys might remember last season. Let's start to talk about the 4-2-3-1. We basically would start play with obviously we are kind of we've got a ball playing goalkeeper in SIPHO Chain, and we have been blessed that throughout the season we had center backs that are also very good on the ball. I'm talking about TLB, Upodlela can play a good pass as well. And then obviously the ones before that who made it seem like we are invincible, Unda, Nosesani.
Yeah.
So what would happen was that I think it's something that Jose picked up very early. So what would happen was that our midfield, let's just pretend that this is Umakaula and this is Umbata. What would actually happen here is that, what would happen was that we would start the ball from the back, and I think Jose picked it up very early in the season. Our midfielders tend to come very deep, not deep, up progressing to the pitch off the ball in build-up. They don't get too involved, and they kind of buzz Makisa. And when Jose figured that out, we would start the ball with Unda. So that would play a diagonal ball all the way across to Umufukengi, or in fact, he did on the left, Sesane on the right. So Sesane and Nda would alternate in playing that long ball either to Mfuke, looking for Mfukengi, all the way up there in the corner, or he would try to find, earlier on it was Saleng, but later on Nkota, same thing really. You would try and find them all the way up there, and then that's how you get into the progressive or the final third, if you will. And as far as I'm concerned, there was an issue. KP, just please show them an example lapo with the first and second clips.
So,
but yeah, as you guys are seeing, Lana, as much as we played kind of with a high line, the ball would go all the way from Sesane. There he is finding our winger on the left-hand side, and then the same thing in the second video as well, Mr. KP. As you can see, in different ways. And even if Sesane got an assist very early in the season, I think we can go back to the board, Mr. KP. And that is, I think it's very clear that you want to have the option to build up from the back, and the fact that our midfielders call them CDM because it was kind of a double pivot, would hide here in the press and would rely on our...
They would hide. Yeah.
They would be hiding, if you ask me. So what Mbule solves for us, okay, just whether or not this is Nduli or Makaula, obviously Makaula's injured right now, so I'd imagine someone like Mbule will start, or even Mbata. What can happen is that he can actually slot in in between the two center backs, who will probably push up wide Dinyana, allowing that space. Normally, obviously, teams try to be compact and they come press with two players, Lana, and maybe one trailing, or variation where one would press in the middle and two out wide, trying to squeeze us and make it difficult for us to play. But what Mbule allows us is that SIPHO chain can play the ball to either the CDM, which is Mbule Lana, who can play the ball right, Guye Lana, and he can either turn and try to find Mbule right behind him, or he can play to his center backs, being in down, and Mbule can kind of shift here and come pick up the ball. And one thing about Mbule is that he can even, as a variation of play, he can swap with the CDM if this is in a 4-2-3-1, like I'm saying. So, a 4-3-3 formation that I expect us to maybe play with one CDM and Mbule alongside Utito, as you can see, or whoever we have. So instead of having a number 10, we would have 2 8s. And what we benefit from that is that Mbule can come all the way here and collect the ball, turn and progress us, whether to Hoto, or to our right or full backs, or can play it. As you can see, we'll have some space. And if Mbule, the nice thing about him is that he's press resistant. So if he picks up the ball here and he turns and finds pressure, he can still find Tito in this little pocket. And before you know it, we're in the middle third. Now, even if this happens, obviously we play with the high line. So this move, our center backs are most likely to be in this area. It still means that Mbule will be here to pick up the ball. And if KP can just show my example of what I'm talking about, he has done it before with his Kune and Sundowns, but let's just show the clips where he has been doing that already.
There he is.
As you can see, Mbule is more than capable of picking up the ball right from the goalkeeper or from the center back. And as you can see, a different dynamic as niggas I know that Mbata was struggling with is that once he gets the ball there, he can play a ball right middle, or regardless of the type of ball, he can play a progressive pass, which is something we lacked significantly last season. In fact, our midfielders did not play any progressive pass. Let's go to the next clip, Mr. KP, just to show him picking up again. And the next clip, same thing. One of this is where he's right out the center backs and he's still picking up the ball, and there he is driving right from the center into the final third, which is something I believe gives us so many more options, because if he has the ball in that position, now we can do, the coach spoke a lot about overload and things of that sort. And if he has the ball and he's carrying us forward, we are again overloaded. So I think Mbule is going to be a huge advantage as in the 4-3 formation. Again, he can outlet Tito. Tito can do the same thing where he comes and collects the ball, and then Mbule is the one who's availing himself. Again, press resisted, but so no by fola, he can turn and actually get us into a offense or attacking position. And then another thing that I believe we had an issue, maybe just please go quickly to the second board where for example, we set up in a 4-3-3 if we have two, the double pivot, if you will, and we still have Mbule playing the 10 alone. An issue that we had was that what you would find one too many times for my liking is that Tito, again, this is Mbule right now, but assume this is Tito for the Tito, instead, you'd find him, instead of doing his job in the 10, because our two midfielders here in Mbata and Makaula would not pick up the ball, they'd be hiding, you'd find Tito now coming and collecting the ball from the centre backs. So what you find is you have two centre mids, basically Bamaki, Welana, Aveli, and now Tito has to try and start the play all the way. Was an issue because now Tito must have the ball from here, get things moving, and then run all the way. There's even a goal against such pay. We yet to now play the pass to Nkota all the way down here. And while Nkota is skinning his man, Tito had to make the run across the field over there. Mr. Cape, if you just saw them clips of what I'm talking about, of Tito being in the wrong position.
Okay, sure. In the wrong position.
But you'll see as a number 10, because it is one. Tito again collecting the ball. This is the goal, in fact. Tito collecting the ball from the goalkeeper, and he had to start the whole thing and get the whole thing playing all the way to the front. And the issue with this is that I felt that Tito would fizzle out. In this particular game, he pretty much won the first half. I think for me, it was one of the best first half performances he had last season. In fact, one of the best performances in general he had last season in the first half. But in the second half, he couldn't continue with that kind of dominance because he had to do too much work. Please go to the next clip, Mr. KB. Again, Tito, here he is in the middle of the centre backs, having to do everything from this position. And then Sasha, go to the issue with this that I saw was that our 10, who's supposed to be finding the pockets and causing problems all the way up front, is now being forced to be all the way deep, and that is a limitation because you can't do it for 90 minutes. And I don't think, obviously, in the first season that he played, he did manage to stay in the 10 position, but I think way too many times we found him all the way at the back in the second season, and I think that is a flaw in our game. However, if you picture Mbule playing here in the 10, now this is assuming that we have someone like Nduli, Nemtajela in the double pivot position, or even if it's Nduli, Mbata, but somebody that can play the ball at the back and alongside another partner in the double pivot. Now you have Mbule in the 10 position, and what we know about Mbule in the 10 is dangerous. So when he's in these areas, run for your lives. And I think having someone like that gives us a lot more potent, a lot more dangerous in the final third, because he is tricky. Even when we played against him, we had an issue in KB. If you can just cue the next clips where Mbule shows us who good one in those positions.
Yeah, but I would say, Hore, with that said, even if he's in the 10, I think it's important that you highlighted, Hore, it does rely on who's in the middle to get it up there at him. Because, with 10s, sometimes the downfall is that Bamaga and they overload him. So if he's got somebody to help him, in the 10, come on. In the 10,
I think that's a great thing you say, because Bamaga, if you see this current clip that's playing right now, Mbule runs into traffic and turns it into his own lane. Causes danger, frees up players that he can play through. And another thing that we didn't have from our teams last season, apart from Shenko. Shenko has a shot on him, Maraina power. So he has to place things, have to go his way for him to get the shot off. If you just play the next clip, you can see Mbule can strike a ball. And he's quite far from the goal there. The goalkeeper had absolutely no chance in this case. And I think that's a different dynamic that we had because we have.
Yeah, because usually we love Shenko in that position, but it has to be perfectly curled in for it to work. And if Mbata's not on the pitch, that is not a position we can expect to be scoring from.
And as much as Mbata has power, he lacks accuracy in terms of his shots. He struggles to get it. I mean, what I've seen from Mbata, it's either going to be goal or it's going nowhere near Ipala. And that's a bit of a problem. What Mbule has these games that he's got the accuracy in fit. When you find him again in those positions, he's able to take a shot. I mean, he's all the way out here in that shot. Anyway, what is it, 30 yards? From the 25, 30-yard line, he's in danger. He can take a shot. In the very same game, we don't have the clip here, but in the very same game, he takes another shot again, and Oshapapala. So it just shows you that he's got that accuracy. He's got the power, but he's got the accuracy. And you know when you have somebody that unpredictable in that area, Leha shot, or when he's on the ball, what's going to happen is that the defenders are going to rush to close him down. So he has options. He can minus. Some players you don't press in the PS. You always say that you don't press Mshishi. You don't press.
Sure. Yeah.
Press him like our minus himself. I shot the shot or our minus. I am Fuke who can take a where I can have a pop as well. So he gives us a lot of new dynamics that we didn't have, especially in our number 10. Because again, Tito, as great as he is, Tito Hana shot no the accuracy. He's got a few goals. I think against Just Bay, he's got one goal from outside the box, but it's not something that he's known for. And Mbule, again, he can take the shot, he can minus, he can assist. So quite a number of options. So yeah, that's how I believe that if, obviously I'm not the coach, I don't know the plans, but once we have a fit Mbule, he gives us a whole lot of new dynamic creativity in the midfield, in the sense that we can play the 4-3-3, we can play the 4-2-3-1, and he gives us the options to cause a lot of trouble in that final third, which we didn't have last season. So he's definitely an acquisition that I feel, if used correctly and things go well, even if Mbule gives you 10 games in a season, and in those 10 games he's playing at that level, that's 30 points as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well said, Mr. Coach. Well said, Mr. Coach. There's a lot to say, but I think in this style of video, it's more about just laying down the foundation, putting our opinions, what we think he will do, the problems he will solve. So if you had to put it in a nutshell, are you saying he will solve our issues, keeping possession? He'll solve our issues by building out from the back in a way where we can still make use of our weapons going forward without having to sacrifice a man coming back to come and collect the ball, and then basically start our combination play earlier, because you will remember that last season we had to wait to get into the final third before we start combinations. And with that clip that you highlighted, it's either going to be we wait or it's a long ball from the defenders. And while that was effective once or twice here and there, I feel like it's not sustainable. So I don't know how else you can wrap that package up into what he solves, and how it's gonna go, what we can expect, and basically what we can now predict. Like if we had to sign the best striker, I would say, okay, now we can predict it. From 30 goals last season, now we're going to score 50. So I don't know how you would like to wrap it in that sense.
I think Mfethu will play a lot of long balls with someone like Mbule. He gives us build-up play, but Mfethu, like I'm saying, last season we didn't really have build-up play in our game. We had patience, yes. We have those few goals. We have a number. I'm not saying we didn't have them at all. We did have a number of goals that started from the back. A number of passes all the way to the final third, but it wasn't necessarily how we predominantly got into the final third. We would rely on the ball, and if in the times where we were facing a low block, besinenkinga, because if you play the long ball to Umfuking, or I think Pyramids was the one that found us out more than anybody else, because we would try that long ball to Otto, it's our guy next. Try the long ball to Unkota's side and they'll close him down quickly. But now when you have somebody who's coming to collect the ball from the center backs, you can't just sit back. You have to press. And because you can press, you open up those spaces for us to build up those triangles, as they like to say in modern football. We can do this overload in different areas of the pitch. Even the coach spoke about it. A lot of overloads all the way from the back, and we can have another phrase that Jose used to like to mention, but we couldn't really get the most out of, was numerical superiority. We can actually have that all the way from the defensive third, because where Chain is and our two center backs and the CDM and Mbule, now you've got 5 players who can play on the ball. And there's no team that's going to press with 5 players up front. So already we've got that superiority and we can build up. So that's a very important thing. And like I'm saying, apart from building from the back, we now have much better shots. Assuming Mbule went out, of course, now. We now have a lot more different ways of getting the shot off in the final third. You can't create more and overload him. You can't create.
It gives us more options.
Yes. It's a lot more things to think about for the defense, and the coaches that opposition also going to have a bigger of a problem, because you don't know what we're going to come at you with. You don't know if you're going to find a 4-3-3. You don't know if you're going to get a 4-2-3-1. You don't know if Mbule is going to try and carry the ball. You don't know if Mbule is going to play a long pass, which he has as well. You don't know if he's going to have a pop from 25, 30 yards. So we have quite a number of threats that we didn't have last season that come with Mbule. And I think for me, that makes us a lot more dangerous as a club.
I think I also just wanted to mention that the way we have prepared this style, guys, even though we're doing it live, and thank you everybody for tuning in and being part of this analysis Pirates Playbook thing that we are doing here. These are new signings, and Fede, we're doing it close to the tour, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to integrate them into last season's squad and see what they would solve that used to be a problem with last season's squad. So let's get to if you don't see Moremi and Kwaiba and Mutuma there. Obviously, when we do their videos, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's probably gonna be altered during the tour. I don't know who's gonna excite us. But yeah, guys, I think this was the perfect player to start with. The master chef himself, Mr. Coach. It is time for us to basically now rate this year acquisition in Fit. Out of 10, maybe I'll just give everybody who's tuned in right now just a little bit of a chance to rate it out of 10. As I give them a chance, let me go through the comments that do exist. Mr. Mafelongar, the master chef. He looks very excited about it. And then Kelvin Duba is like, why are you talking about Saling? We're not talking about Saling. Mdumiseni comes through and says, Mbule is going to thank Dr. Koza by becoming player of the season. He'll be thanking us all, He'll be thanking us all. Mr. Mafelong came back through and said Mbule will be dangerous with supporting players such as Nduli, Ngota, Mufukeng, Tito, and Kwaiba. Yes, sir. Amos, so Amos comes to me. He's like, Mbule is the most smartest midfielder we have. Not to undermine other players, but he's a monster. Imagine Tito, Master Chef, Nduli. Of course, that is the dream midfield. In future, Mokoena, it's fine. It's fine, Mokoena. It's fine, Adams. And it's fine, Allende. I'm okay. Thank you, Amos, for giving us that dream midfield 3 that we all been dreaming about. Yeah, I would also start just like that. Thank you. And then Daoud, of course. Never misses one. He's like, damn, I'm late. I hope I didn't miss much. Hey, you missed it. You missed it all. You are seeing the back of the bus, and it is puffing that last puff of diesel. And we are at the end. And Mr. Coach came through and just gave us the coach's perspective of how he would use Mbule and what problems it solves, or he solves by being in the squad. And then I just named his strengths and weaknesses, kind of like this. Let me just show you. I don't want this picture too. But anyway, yeah. His player profile, strengths, weaknesses, and how we use him in the squad. So when you go back, you'll see where what is. Hopefully, Mr. Coach can put in the timestamps at the end of this. And yeah, I see no ratings thus far. Maybe next time I'll make a poll. And then that poll is like, what do you rate? Get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as options fed. That'll probably be easier for them to engage. Danko. Mr. Coach, out of 10, SIPHO MBULE.
I'm going to focus on what he brings to the table, assuming things go well. And because it gives us a new dynamic and makes us that more dangerous, I would say a minimum of 8 out of 10. Mfethu. I actually agree. That this is a potential player of the season. I think amongst the football fraternity, he's touted Mfethu as the best midfield talent of a generation. It hasn't yet delivered in terms of performing at that level for a sustained period of time, but from just a talent perspective, definitely one of the best ever, Mfethu. So it's a risk worth taking, even if, like I said, even if it gives you 10 league games and things go haywire for whatever reason. I mean, not even just issues. It could even be injury, God forbid. Things can happen in football. Even if it gives you 10 league games, you are that much more likely to get 30 points from those 10 league games, as far as I'm concerned. So I would say he's an 8 out of 10. Siyabonga chairman. I am going to say thank you to the chairman. Thank you to the other causes as well. Everybody that was involved in not just the Mbule signing, of course, the whole transfer window so far. I think we would all be doing them a disservice if we don't say thank you and don't appreciate what they've done. Amapagania, countrywide, we are excited for this coming season. So they did an incredible job there. And yeah, look forward to seeing the fruits of his labor.
Yo, Bob. 8 out of 10. That is Mr. Coach's rating. You know what? As soon as you said the word risk, that's why I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that takes it down from a 10. Fairly. So yeah, I hear you. I don't think I need to say any more in terms of that. It would be a 10, but because there's a risk, red tape, asterisk next to his name, it is what it is, and I can't fight with that. 8 out of 10. Guys, who do you guys want us to do next? We've got a couple that we obviously want to do, but we would love to get your opinion on that. Thank you very much for tuning in. The Pirates Playbook. The Pirates Playbook on the Happy People TV. Mr. Coach, me, I'm going to close it. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, before you do,
I know you have something. Oh, wait.
I always. From where I'm sitting there, I can't tell. How many of us Mapagania are currently in the stream?
We're currently 50.
Mapagania, I blind. First of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Can't thank you enough, Buffett. This channel is not just for us, because we have these chats offline anyway. This is a community. It's a place for us to all have these conversations. We want to hear what you have to say. Mangabe uzwe ngathi coach ya pap wenza ngathi waqava ibhola ngala ma specs wakhe ayikho lento ayikhuluma ngitsheleni kuma comments Buffett. Please, we want to know what you think of this signing and what it brings to the table. But the reason I'm asking the question, Buffett, there's 50 of you guys. I know, okay? Please help us get to 30 likes before the end of the stream. The reason why I always beg for this is that we have more likes, and more likes shows the video to more Amapaganea who would appreciate and enjoy this video. So please help us as Bambane and Mapagachuchu. Hit that like button and then subscribe. See, I'm Bamba 3,000. You know, it would be nice to see Bamba 3,000 subscribers before the league starts on the 1st of August. But I ain't important. I'd appreciate it. No, my neighbor feel too. So, please hit that subscribe on your way out, and thank you for tuning in.
Uncle.